All right, thank you. We are going to jump right into some examples. I'm going to be using a database called PVF, which stands for Pine Valley Furniture or Pioneer Valley Furniture, if you prefer a Western Mass flavor to this. So I am also following along with the 5.6 Top Hat lesson. And so if you choose, you can also follow along there as well. Okay, so the database that we're using is shown. This is a somewhat simple database, and I would say it's linear in nature. So take a look at this, and then of course reference it again if you need to. So let's work on the first problem set. Take these one by one, and uh, and I would suggest that you pause the video and take your best stab at it as you can. So first thing is we want to display all the records in the customer table. So let's pause that and go ahead and take a moment to work on that. When we want to display all the records in the customer table, then what we are doing or what we're going to want to do. So when we display all the records in the customer table, I'll display all the records in any table. We're going to do select star from, let's make this a little bit bigger. Select star from the customer table. So I'm going to interpret that as customer T, because customer underscore T is the closest thing to the customer table that I can see there. All right, so I can run that F9, and I get I see the customer table. So very good. Question 2. So from what states do the customers come from? So here, this is a somewhat open-ended question. What I can do is select customer state from customer T, and then I'm going to get a list of all the customer states. If I just wanted a list of which states the customers come from, I can do select distinct customer state. And so that way, for example, I have Florida and then I have Florida again. And so then that's going to suppress those repeats of Florida. And so when I run this, you'll see I have 15 rows, and I run it again, I have 11 because it's suppressing those repeats. Okay, number 3. List all states where the customers are from and include the number of customers per state. Don't repeat states. So here I'm going to select distinct customer state and then the count as number of customers. So I'm selecting customer state and count rows as number of customers from customer T. Now I'm not going to be able to run this as is because I have that count star and it's going to say I don't know what to do with customer state because it's not the group by clause. So that should be a hint that we should put this in group by. Run that. And so now we see that we have 2 customers in California, we have 3 customers in Florida, 2 customers in New Jersey, and then 1 customer everywhere else. And of course, if you wanted to verify that, you could go back to the original, the first question, select star from customer T, and go down and count the number of times, for example, that you have Florida. So I see 3 people in Florida, that tracks. I have another person in California, and then I have my 2 people in New Jersey. So again, you have the ability to kind of go back and check your own work. Finally, number 4, which customers are located in Florida? Sort the customer names alphabetically. So here I'm going to select star from customer T where customer state equals FL or Florida, because FL is the Florida abbreviation. So when I run that, I'm going to get all the customer states there. Now it so happens that these customer names are sorted from A to Z alphabetically. But if we want to be sure of that, then we can do order by customer name. And then what that's going to do is make sure that the customer name goes from A to Z. So in this case, I'm going to rerun that. It's not going to do anything. If I want to make sure it goes from Z to A, then I can say order by customer name descending, DESC, and now I can run that, and it's going to, you'll see it's going to go from Z to A. So here we have our fourth question. All right, so problem set 1 dealt with single tables. Problem set 2 is going to deal with multiple tables. So let's start with the first one, is we want to see which customer placed order 1006. So that's an order ID. List the customer name. So we have the order ID here in order T, and then we have the customer name in customer underscore T. So what we want to do is select the customer name where order ID equals 1006. And we have these connected to each other in customer ID. So what I'm going to do, all right, so I'm going to select customer name from customer T and order T, where, and remember that the key pair is customer T dot order ID and order T dot order ID. So where, customer ID, not order ID. So where customer T dot customer ID equals order T dot order dot customer ID. And now if I run that, then I'm going to get all the customer names. And so I have 10, so that's good. However, I do also need to further put this down where order ID equals 1006. Now I can see that Value Furniture has placed that order. Now there are a couple of things that I can do here to make this a little bit easier. I can alias the customer and order tables. So I can do customer T space C and order T space O. And now instead of referencing these with the full name, I can reference them with the alias I assigned. So C.customer ID and O.customer ID instead of customer underscore T and order underscore T dot customer ID. Problem set question number 2 is what was on order 1001? Include all fields from the order T and order line T tables. So I want all fields, so I'm going to select star from order T O and then order line T OL. And so here I'm just aliasing these to make it a little bit easier. Where order.order ID equals order line dot order ID and order ID equals 1001. So I can run this. And I can see all the items that came in with order ID 1001. Now you'll see that there are different products, which is why I had different lines. An order is made up of multiple products. In this case, this customer ordered 2 of product ID 1, 2 of product ID 2, and 1 of product ID 4. Next one. For each order, list the order ID, date, customer name, total number of units, and the total price of the order, assuming that everybody paid the standard price. So we have this standard price here. So for each order, we want to list the order ID and the date, which is an order T, the total number of units. So that's going to be the ordered quantity summed together, and then the order quantity times the price. So each individual item, each individual line, if I bought 2 of a $10 item, then I'm going to take the ordered quantity, which is 2, and multiply that by the price, and then I'm going to have a total price of $20 for that item. If I have 2 or 3 more items, then I'm going to add those as well. So this is a group by question, and so I want to list the order ID, the order date, and the customer name, which is going to be customer table. So let's do. So we're going to select the order ID, order date, which is order underscore date, and customer name, sum of order quantity, as total items, and sum of order quantity times product dot standard price as total cost. So I have again the order ID, the order date, the customer name. These are my group, my non-grouping items, or the items that the columns I'm grouping by. Then I have the sum of the ordered quantity. So that's just the number of individual items. And then I have the sum of the ordered quantity times the standard price for each individual item as the total cost. So I'm pulling from customer T, order line T, and product T. So I'm going to need from all those. So from uh, customer T, alias at C, order T, alias O, order line, alias OL, product, alias P, where, and now I'm going to have to join all these together. So C dot customer ID equals O dot customer ID and O dot order ID equals order line dot order ID and order line dot product ID equals product dot product ID. And, oops, sorry, not and. And then finally, one more line, group by. And here's where I'm going to put everything that is not an aggregating function. I'm just going to copy it, Control and just copy it and paste it, and I can run that. And now now I have each order nice and tidy. I can see that order ID 1001 was put in by Contemporary Casuals. It had a total of 5 items, and the total cost was $1,400. And you can reference the previous answer to see what, or to spot check this. And we do know from the previous question that there were 2 items of, or a quantity of 2 of one item, quantity 2 of a second item, and then 1 more of a third. So there was a total of 5 items. Finally, list all product information, including the product line name from our most expensive product. So this is a subquery question because we need the most expensive product. So select all product information, including the product line name. So select star from product T and from product line T, where product P dot product line ID equals PL dot product line ID. So I can run this real quick, and I can see that I have my 8 products, and then they all have their product lines as well as this field 1 that I'm not sure why it's there. But we're only interested in our most expensive product. And so here I have this standard price. And so I'm going to add another line, and P dot product or P dot standard price equals, and then I'm going to open up a subquery. So I want to select the maximum product price, standard price, which in this case is $800. So we should have this dining table, which is made out of natural ash. So I'm going to select max standard price from product T. So our aliases aren't going to carry over, but we're just going to run that. And now we can see that we have filtered down our list to one final item, which is just the product ID, the product description, the product finish, and also the product line, but only for our most expensive product, which was $800 that we previously just looked at.
All right, so let's look at our third problem set. The first problem set was of single tables. The second problem set was multiple tables and inner joins. And the third problem set is going to be multiple tables with outer joins. So specifically, we have this customer table and we have this order table. And not every customer who we have in our list has placed an order. And so we are going to want to be able to we are going to want to be able to find customers who do not have any orders placed. And so let's think about that when we do this next problem. All right, so we want a list of each customer and the number of orders they placed, irrespective of how many orders they placed. And so what that is getting at is that I need an outer join. There might be some customers who have placed 0 orders. Again, not in this database, but hypothetically. There might be some customers who have placed 0 orders, and I still want to have those in my list. So I'm going to do select the customer name, c.customer name, and then count star as number of orders from, and this must be an outer join, so I'm going to do from customer T left join order T on c.customer ID equals o.customer ID. And then I'm going to group by customer name. Run that. And I see that there are a bunch of people that have their orders. Everybody has at least one. So let's make sure that this outer join is actually working. And so because count star is actually counting the number of rows, but we can actually check the number of order IDs. And so in this case, we see that Furniture Gallery and Heritage, effectively some people have 0 orders. Now, we can list the names of customers who have not placed any orders at all by adding another line here, having count order ID equals 0. And now I'm reducing this list down to only the people who have 0 orders. So again, this is a left join or an outer join problem. And if I did an inner join, and I can just switch this to inner join order T0, then I don't get any results, because definitionally an inner join must have customers who also have orders.